Hello guys, it's the Minigun from Mushroom Cloud Gaming, bringing you another discussion video. Today's topic is all about the Assault class and its role in infantry specific game modes, particularly Team Deathmatch and even more so Domination. As you are all probably aware, the Assault class is often a top pick in these types of game modes, and it's not uncommon at all to see people yelling Ace 23 noob in the ever so glorious Battlefield 4 chat box. The rage is real guys, the rage is real. And why is this rage real? Because in my opinion there is actually some valid reasons why some people might be upset beyond just being, video game mad. I was always inclined to pretty much thinking that the Assault class in Battlefield 4 is a bit too good in these type of game modes. I mean, what is the Assault class? It's basically a class that has access to all-rounder weapons, some of which have very high damage per second, and an ability to heal themselves even while on the move. The way I describe this, it's pretty much no surprise that the average player gravitates to this class, especially in TDM, Domination and even Rush. But the problem really starts when we start talking about competitive and good players. Recently I've been playing on a server which hosts 16-player Domination with ESL rules. I hadn't played too much Domination prior to this, but it seems that it's probably the most fast-paced game mode there you can play in Battlefield 4. And as you can imagine, there was a crap ton of players using the medic class. In particular, most of them were using the AEK, since it's a very high damage per second weapon and as such highly powerful in the close range environment one would find in these Domination type game modes. The discrepancy between classes can be attributed to the short range nature of this game mode, as well as it being dependent mostly on player skill rather than extensive teamwork like something like a game of Rush would require. As such, it is very understandable that people would gravitate to this class, because there is literally no reason to use any other in such a fast-paced game mode when you have the ability to heal yourself and also deal a massive amount of damage in CQB. Personally, I am a huge fan of the PDW. In TDM, I quite like to use the P90 SMG. Well, I should say PTW, but it really feels like an SMG, so who really cares? If we look at the P90, it's basically a superior AEK in every way when it comes to CQB. It has milder recoil, a massive 51 round magazine which actually matches the reload speed of the AEK, or closely resembles it, and also pretty much godly hipfire, giving it a decisive time advantage in those very close range firefights where most assault users would aim down sight. This is all well and good in theory. The P90 is a superior weapon to the AEK in CQB, but is it really? When it comes to Domination, I seriously doubt it. This is because if you are that P90 player, and obviously you're using the Engineer class, you have no way of personally healing yourself. Sure, your teammates can heal you, and sure, you can pick up dead enemy kits and use their own medkits, but it's not actually a perfect solution. It's because all of the other people are just using medics because they know that there is not much reason to use anything else, and as such, they are much more valuable to each other than you will ever be by using a PTW, since you have no way of healing people, or better yet reviving them. What would most likely happen is that you may be able to defeat multiple enemies, considering that you are using a superior weapon and that you are actually very skilled. But at the end of the day, yes, the P90 is superior in many ways. They are still delivering a similar damage per second, as both weapons fire at 900 RPM, the only exception being that the AEK user can heal themselves. This is especially annoying when you win a firefight and possibly capture a point, only to have the entire or half the team spawn on you at 100 hit points while you cannot heal, because you are reliant on other people or trying to pick up an enemy kit to heal yourself, which is much more clunky than it sounds. So, what can we do to rectify this issue? Ignoring the fact that Battlefield 4's life cycle is basically over and Battlefield 1 is around the corner, and none of this will ever happen, but let's ignore that, because well, why the hell not? Fortunately, I seem to have listened to this kind of criticism as mind you, this is not the first time anyone has mentioned this. It has been mentioned by several other YouTubers, most notably someone like Battle Nonsense, who actually knows what they are talking about in terms of mechanics. DICE's response was to give the medic class, which is by the way actually called the medic class in Battlefield 1, DMR style weapons with the option of some being in full auto mode at the expense of being extremely slow far rate weapons of around 257 to 300 rounds per minute. So that's one way to fix this issue. Another way is what Battlefield Hardline actually did. Despite that game's reputation, it does objectively have a much better infantry dynamic than Battlefield 4. Every class in that game has a particular advantage over another. For example, the actual medic class has weapons that never exceed 850 RPM, generally have more recoil than their Battlefield 4 counterpart, and as such are less of an all-rounder weapon. They also have no access to any kind of medical kit that can heal on the move, and their actual big medical kit takes a much longer time to deploy once it is used. Other classes, such as the Engineer, have body armor, which allows them to close the distance and engage with their extremely high fire rate submachine guns, or in some cases low fired with almost no recoil, paired with exceptional hipfire, making them the best close-quarter combat class period. The Operator has access to battle rifles, which can do damage at most ranges at the expense of being hard to control and requiring time to master. More importantly, they have a useful gadget by the name of the Ballistic Shield, which by the way exists in Battlefield 4, but it has the decided advantage of being wielded on the player's back, meaning it is very difficult to kill an operator while shooting them in the back, because you would simply not hit them. In addition, the Ballistic Shield itself during proper use is way more effective than its Battlefield 4 counterpart, as you know, it actually blocks the bullets, whereas Battlefield 4's version requires exceptionally good awareness to actually position yourself in a way that can block them. In addition, any player can just walk up to you and magically point their gun through your shield and kill you, something that does not happen in Battlefield Hardline. The Recon class in that game also has automatic sidearms, which can also happen in Battlefield 4 with the G18 and 93R pistols. Unfortunately, the G18 is extremely overpowered in my opinion, and is also available to the Assault class, because of course, assault rifles and medkits were not good enough in infantry-centric game modes. This is why I secretly refer to these people, especially those who are actually good with it, as medic superheroes, because quite honestly, their kill-to-death ratio would not be anywhere as good were it not for the medkit and assault rifle combo, and even so, the G18 as their sidearm. Of course, I mean no offense to these people, they're just simply playing the game the way it is designed, but it's quite funny to see anyway. Also, another useful addition which has been present in Battlefield 1942 and Battlefield 2, and of course, surprise even Battlefield Hardline, is to have ammo crates and medical kits scattered across the map. This way it would make something which can be used by all classes, as well as create an interesting dynamic, particularly in TDM, where these areas are sought after beyond just the battle pickups which are placed across the map. Well, that's about it for this video. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, just smack that like button. If not, just go slightly east of it and you can click it to hate me. I would also appreciate if you actually comment and shared your opinion, because it's much more interesting than a yes or no. Thank you all and have a good one.